Hey guys, it's me, Randy, and I wanted to go over what exactly gang stalking is. There's so many videos out there, and also the tactics that have been used on us. And it is February 29th, 2024. But I'm here on this channel. We see things from the real aspect, which is the spiritual aspect. And yes, we know gang stalking has, physical aspects. Like we get that, right? Okay, because they're using people, they're using things, they're using objects, they're using weapons, right? We get that. But we have to see the spiritual side of it because everything happens in the spiritual realm first, and then it crosses over into our physical realm. So, of course, I am going to give a little backdrop of what gang stalking is, and we can find this anywhere. Everybody gives their own little thing of what gang stalking is. Now, everybody's gang stalking is going to be different depending on why you are gang stalked, right? But it's all basically the same definition. Okay, so it is a set of real tactics. This is based on all of my research and everything that I have gathered, right? Based off of the spiritual and the physical aspects together. And I have my list and stuff here. So it is a set of real tactics that can be referred to in the security industry as disruption operations. In the disruption, it could be in the disruption of the life of an individual targeted by public and or private security operatives. Again, depending on your level of targeting. Everybody's level of targeting is definitely not the same, and people need to understand that. And you can tell by going on different TI channels what their level of targeting is, okay? Because my level of targeting is definitely not going to be somebody else's level of targeting, and there are reasons for that. It could be their family bloodline. If they come from some type of high-ranking satanic family, Illuminati family, Freemasonic family, if they're a whistleblower, a high-ranking whistleblower from a company, it just depends why, or if they're just, if they're what their rank is in the spiritual realm, right? Their destiny, okay? Why they are being targeted. This all plays a big factor into the intensity of the targeting of that TI, okay? And not a lot of people look at that. They think, I come across a lot of these channels and everybody thinks that it's all the same, and it's not. You can clearly see that the targeting is not the same. The intensity is not the same, right? But it's all bad, right? We all go through these horrible things. And I'm not downplaying anybody's targeting because what they're doing to us is all horrible and it's not right. But there are different levels, okay? And that's with anything that we go through in life. Let's see here. So, and it is done by private and public sectors. We get this. If you haven't come across, which I do believe is a good, I think is a real whistleblower, which is Brian Coffrin. If you don't know who Brian Coffrin is, you can find him on YouTube. His testimony is getting a little hard to find. I'll see if I can link it in the description. It has nothing to do with criminal gangs. When you think of gang stalking, when you hear that term, people who have no idea what gang stalking is, they automatically think of gangs like the Crips and the Bloods and, your MS-13 or whatever, whatever it may be. It has absolutely nothing to do with gangs. Nothing. Okay. It has nothing to do with your criminal gang groups. That is the major disinformation part, and they do that on purpose. Okay, so this has nothing to do with your gangs, nothing at all. But it does involve stalking, though, heavy stalking. Okay, and it's done stalking in gangs, so in group. That's why they call it group mobbing, gang stalking, because they're doing stalking in groups of gangs, heavily gang stalking. Okay, but it has nothing to do with criminal gangs, right? Even though they are gangs of criminals, if that makes sense, right? Okay, so it is very intense. and long-term surveillance and harassment. So before, I always knew that I was a TI, right? Because they were doing some tactics on me before my targeting went over. I always knew that I was a TI for many, many years. I've been attacked since I was a kid, right? I'm going to get into this when I do an updated testimony video. I'm going to have to break it down into series because it's crazy, right? Like the things like my childhood and things like that. But they've been coming after me for a really, really long time. But that you will have long-term surveillance done on you before they go over with your targeting, okay? And you won't even know it. You usually have handlers in your life as a targeted individual that are very close to you. These are usually your family members, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncles, your granny, your grandpa, things like that. And unfortunately, it is like that with a targeted individual. They're doing long-term surveillance on you, okay? And intense long-term surveillance is done, and harassment involving varying levels of criminality. Okay, heavy criminal work is done with the gang stalking. I'm talking about all types of criminal involvement is done. These people think that they are above the law, right? That the law does not apply to them in any shape or form. I might have to, it's getting a little dark, so I might have to turn on my light here. Give me just a second. Okay, give me one moment here. Okay, so this is all based, and this is what I want to say. So a lot of people say that this is based on the Stasi, like the Germany. So the way that they get their tactics, okay? Let me do this. Hold on, give me 1 second because it is getting a little dark in here. And I hate this light. These little lights or whatever, because I feel like they bring out like every, and I'm surrounded by gang stalkers and I hate having my window open and it's like open and I can't show y'all because I'm using my computer, so bear with me really quick. And my ears, every time I do, look at this, every time I do a video about gang stalking, they hit me with the do's. You can usually see it really good in on my cell phone footage. But okay, give me just a second. So everybody talks about how the methods, what are the methods of gang stalking? Like, where do they get these methods from? Okay, so it's so deep. Like these videos can go on forever, right? But it's like people will say, okay, you're being gang stalked, all right? We know what gang stalking is, okay? You gave us a basic definition. Where are they getting this from? So there are a few things. So this can go way back. So I'm going to take it way back, okay? And this is going back to the spiritual aspect of gang stalking, where this is where it originally started, okay? Because remember, on this channel, we're going to go down to the very root. Whenever you have a problem, you need to go down to the root of the issue. We're not just going to look at the symptoms here, right? Because they want to talk about, you know, going back to the German and the Nazis and the Stasis, and that is correct. They were practicing it there, but we need to go all the way back down to the root. So gang stalking comes from the Book of the Dead, right? So they were, see, what people don't want to talk about is that gang stalking is an ancient tactic that they were doing back in biblical days, right? Okay, so back in the days of Pharaoh, right? Okay, they were using these tactics. These tactics of gang stalking come from the Book of the Dead. This is where they get them from originally. Anybody who is very high in the occult, comes across, so anybody who is high in the occult, glory to you, God, for keeping me on track, Holy Spirit. Anybody who is high in the occult knows this knowledge. Now, they are not going to high, 33rd, 32nd, and on up degree Masons. They know this knowledge. Your sisters of light, right? Your mothers of darkness, they know, right? They know all of this knowledge. These are tactics from the Book of the Dead. This is where they're actually getting this from. Like your street soldiers, your little low street foot soldiers, gang stalkers, they don't know, right? They're just being used by the enemy anyway. But this is where these tactics come from originally. So there was a guy on my channel who commented and said, gang stalking is not biblical. This nothing about this targeting has anything to do with the Bible. Well, yeah, actually it does. Jesus was a targeted individual, and he was gang stalked by the Pharisees and the Sadducees, basically everyone around him. And his targeting actually led to his death, but his death was for a reason. The disciples were targeted individuals, and they were gang stalked unto their death. Okay, so my license plate is Psalms 35. I have a personalized license plate. King David was a targeted. That's one of the most perfect examples other than Jesus and the disciples. King David was a targeted individual, and he was gang stalked by King Solomon, right? By Saul, yeah. And he was crying out, open the book of Psalms. That is King David crying out to God about his gang stalkers. Psalms 35 to 37 is him crying out to God for relief, for God to act on his gang stalkers. That's why I have Psalm 35 as my license plate, right? Because at this point in my life, because we're still dealing with the gang stalking for these 2 years, that's me crying out to God, okay? So the Bible is a manual for targeted individuals, okay? For many are called, but few are chosen. So targeting has everything to do with the Bible. Targeting is extremely biblical, okay? And the people that are attacking us, they know that. So these tactics date way back to the beginning of time, to the Ancient of Days, to the Book of the Dead. That's where they originate from, all right? They've been doing this way back since the pyramid days, okay? But people only want to talk about how they are Stasi, Zertzung, or however you want, Zertzung, however you want to pronounce that, which they were doing that. And it does come from Germany. But like I said, we got to go back to the root of the issue, okay? Everything is always spiritual before it is physical, okay? Because Jesus dealt with this way before they ever brought that with Hitler and what they were doing in Germany, okay? With the mkultra and all of that. Jesus was dealing with that a long time ago, okay? Everything that we have ever dealt with, Jesus dealt with it first, all right? They were dealing with that a long time ago, okay? So, of course, with the examples that they were doing, with the Stasi, they want to call it that, with the MK Ultra, and it's severe psychological, with the gang stalking, all the methods that are used, they have severe and psychological, social, and financial effects upon the victim. That's why they are doing it, okay? And also, this is what I want to say with the Freemasons. So there's different groups with the Freemasons, okay? Or different groups doing it, and one of them is the Freemasons, is what I meant to say. And with the Freemasons, with my research, they call this, and this is why I am being targeted. I come from a family of very high-ranking Freemasons. My grandfather was a Shriner, okay? My mother, her sister, the women in my family, they are Order of the Eastern Stars, okay, all of them. And they keep that very well hidden. You would not know that. They go to church, anyways, I'll get into that in another video. But with the Freemasons, they call it the no-touch torture. They call it the silent dagger or the white glove treatment, okay, with the gang stalking. And it's because in gang stalking, it's very hard to prove because, again, it is a spiritual no-touch torture tactic, right? Because until it is being done to you, you can't, you don't know that, you can't see it, right? And this is what leads into the whole mkultra thing, and this can go down into a whole new video that we really don't have time for right now, right? But this is why they call it the silent dagger, right? Because it is torture on a whole nother level. Not only is it psychological, it's financial, it's spiritual torture, right? Because they hit you, they hit your finances. They hit you with witchcraft. They hit you with, I'm fixing to go over this list of the things that we have been through, okay? Now, here's some of the things that people from my research that have described everything that, that they do. They do smear campaigns, slandering, blacklisting, and mobbing. Like with my YouTube channel, with this one trying to get this out, me compared to other, and I'm a brand new channel, so I get it. YouTube has to make, which of course YouTube is just Google, but and we know how the algorithm and the beast algorithm, they don't like targeted individuals to get out and spread their and spread their stories. I'm a new channel, I get it, but my views are really, really down. I notice that I'll get subscribers and then they go away. I get comments and they're not showing up, like, blacklisting, shadow banning, okay? And I had that on all my social media accounts, and I've been having that for years. Mobbing, intense organized harassment in the workplace. I've had to quit jobs, and this was before that. This was before my harassment, my targeting went overt. This was still covert at the time. Residential break-ins, abusive phone calls, computer hacking and framing, threats, blackmail, vandalism, street theater, okay, staged physical and verbal interactions with perps or minions of the people who orchestrate the stalking, harassment by noises and other forms of bullying. In some cases, the harassment escalates to physical violence, which I haven't. Usually this is the thing. This is why they call it the no-touch torture tactic, right? Because it'll never, they don't touch you, okay? Now, there's only one instance where I was at a park where they were trying to set me up, okay? And they have also come here. They have been, I'm not going to get into that. There's people who are trying to take our lives, but recently because they don't want my story to get out, but that's for another video. But usually they will not touch you, okay? They will not touch you. Now, they'll try to put you in a situation. The whole point of gang stalking is to put you in a situation to where you'll act out. That's the whole point of gang stalking. They want a reaction. They want your energy. They want to make you act out so they can get you on video, okay? So they can run a smear campaign. They want to get you out of character, okay? They want to get you put in jail or in prison. They want to absolutely wreck your life. But the ultimate form of gang stalking, the ultimate reason, the ultimate goal of gang stalking, the reason why it is done to a person is to get that person to commit suicide, okay? That is why gang stalking is done to a person. They want that person to commit suicide. They want to make that person's life absolutely so morbidly miserable, like hell on earth. And it is hell on earth. Hell on earth to where they don't have to kill the person. Again, remember, no-touch torture, silent dagger treatment, that instead of them having to come in and take that person out themselves, okay, they don't want to get caught. They want this person dead. They want this person out of here, right? Off this earth, but they don't want to get caught, okay? They don't want charges. They don't want to go to prison. Okay, so they want the person to do it themselves. They want to make this person's life so miserable, so horrible that they will take themselves out. That is the ultimate purpose of gang stalking. And this is where it gets so sinister. This is where this is where it starts hurting, right? Oh, I have my window open and it's dark outside. And I know my gang stalker neighbors can see. Let me see if that'll help a little bit. I don't like it being on me. Oh, I know they're looking in here. I'm sorry. Like I don't. Okay, I think that help a little bit. I can't stand it. Like, I'm surrounded. Okay, anywho, and I really want to get up and close it, y'all. Okay. Anyways, but I'm gonna get up and close this so bad. Okay, anyways, but that's where I need to stay on track. That I don't want to make this too long either, but that's where it gets really sinister, because when you find out who is behind your gang stalking, well, it's not, well, for me, when you find out who's behind it, who's been behind the targeting your whole life and who your handlers are, that's when you really have the breakdown. That's when when God just opens up that revelation to you and that knowledge. And that's when it really hurts, because it's like, wow, these people really want me dead. They want me out of here. And that's when it just, it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. Okay. But that is the ultimate form of gang stalking, right? Let me see here. And just to make this clear, right, with gang stalking, nobody else knows around you what is going on, okay? So, other than your gang stalker neighbors. And usually the targeted individual is surrounded and they don't even know it, okay? And until their targeting goes over. Like in my apartment complex in Texas, I've moved to another state now. I've been here almost a year and a half, a little bit under a year and a half in my new state. In Texas, in our apartment complex, everything was fine until my targeting went over, right? And then it's like a light switch was flipped. And these people, I am telling you, it's crazy. And the irony of it all is what they love to do is play mind games. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you need help. Oh, do I now? Oh, do I really now? Really? Because I seem pretty sound to me, okay? I've been walking with the Lord for a really, really long time, right? I'm pretty sound to keep a job and to raise my child and to, do all these other things. But when it comes to the gang stalking, you're not sound. You're not of sound mind. No, they're crazy. And it's just, sorry, I'm putting in my thing. I keep forgetting to move my mouse. It's just like, no, the things that we're seeing out here is targeted, and we're all going through the same thing, right? I want to start interviewing other targeted individuals, all the targeted individuals, and this is just not in the United States. This is all around the world. We're all going through the same tactics. We're all going through the same things, right? We're all crazy, huh? Yeah, no, okay. So these people think they're above the law, okay? And they are not. They think that they are. And even though they might not get any type of justice or punishment here in this realm, best believe they will get it in the next realm if they do not come under the blood of Jesus Christ for those sins. Best believe that you are not getting away with what you have done. Don't ever forget that, ever. Okay? So that is what gang stalking is for those of you who do not know, who will come across this video, who need to understand what gang stalking is. Why is it happening? Okay, to me, to others who are saying that this is happening. Also, gang stalking, we are the beta test group for the New World Order. If you think that gang stalking is not going to happen to you, oh, it's coming. For those of you who are not going to take the mark of the beast, it's coming. For those of you who the New World Order wants you to do, right? We are the beta test group. You should see some of the things that we go through, some of the supernatural things that we go through. Me and my daughter. Okay? And it's beyond out here, the things that we have seen, for real. But that is also what gang stalking is. It is also the persecution of the end time saints. We are in the last days. That is what gang stalking is as well. And I said that in my trailer video for the channel. Even if you don't believe in God, if you don't know Jesus yet, there is a light in you. You have not sold out to the New World Order, right? You have not sold out yet. And they are targeting that. And you have a destiny to fulfill. You have a purpose to fulfill, okay? And they are targeting that. They, as in the elite, and those who have sold themselves, because gang stalkers have sold their souls. But this ministry here, there are two ministries that I have. One is for those here on this channel, and then I have another ministry that has nothing to do with this, with gang stalking. But those on this channel that is going to come to this channel, God has something here, like I said in my trailer video, for everybody. God can still redeem you, even if you are a gang stalker, even if you are an elite, even if you have sold your soul. Oh, yes, he has, because your soul wasn't even yours to begin to sell in the first place, right? And I got tons of videos to post on things like that, and those are coming. But I want to get into the tactics now that we know what gang stalking is, okay? And we got a gist of why people go through it, why people are targeted, okay? Who's doing it, okay? And also, there's different, you got your occult. Most of it, what people also, they think it's all just government. It's the government targeting me. Yes, there are different, you got your government, right? You got your cops, your dirty cops. And first and foremost, I would like to say, okay, please let me get this out there. I am not anti-government. I am not anti-authority. I am not anti-police. I am not anti any of that. The Bible strictly says God gives us a commandment that we are to respect and obey authority and obey government. That are righteous and upholding the laws of God in righteousness. And unfortunately, our government is not doing that right now. Unfortunately, our police forces aren't doing that right now. They are completely taken over by occults and Freemasons and the FOP, which is Fraternity Order of Police, and all those things. But what I am against, I respect the police and what they do. I respect judges. I respect our government. I respect positions, people who hold positions of authority and power. I am not against any of that. I want to make that very clear. But what I am against, I'm against anybody who is against God and Jesus Christ. I am against anybody who is out here stalking people. I'm against anybody who is out here breaking the law, because we are not. I'm against you, okay? I'm against anybody who is in an occult or a cult coming together like an army coming up against one person. Yeah, I'm against you, okay? But I am not against any of that. I respect, there are good police officers. There are good government workers. There are good judges. There are good people in every sector of life, in every sector of everybody's careers. Like, I get that. And I support you. And I thank you for your service and what you're doing out there, right? Just like us TIs, we get smear campaigns ran on us. We are good people, okay? There's nothing wrong with us. We just want to be respected like y'all want to be respected. But I can't respect you if you're out here doing these things, participating in gang stalking. I can't respect you for that. I can't. So I wanted to make that real clear. All right.